big part of why I'm feeling so good about this now is I have proof that I can do the things that I say I'm going to do. I have proof of concept now. So that is really exciting because it means when I come up with other ideas for other things that I want to work on in the future, I have this podcast and all of the work that I've put into it and the consistency that I've kept to it as an example and as proof that I will be able to do it again.
Welcome to Trujectory, the podcast committed to helping you align with who you really are, your true self. The one who is so comfortable with their uniqueness, so in love with life, and so effortlessly able to manifest everything they always dreamt of. I want this podcast to be a resource to help you jump into the driver's seat rather than continuing as a passenger in your own story. Let's understand why we choose to hold ourselves back so we can shed the lies that we've programmed into our minds. We can heal the root causes and step into the epic human that we know we can be. If you're ready to start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it.
Hey fam, welcome to this episode, the final solo episode of season 1 Trujectory podcast. I am so excited that I did it, and I want to use this episode to look back on this first season and share with you all of the amazing things that I've gained from doing this, and hopefully you can use this as that little extra push if there's something that you've been thinking you want to do, want to start, want to try, but you've been doubting yourself, and you've been getting all up in your head, overthinking everything and trying to make sure everything's perfect before you start anything. This is your reminder why you should just get the fuck into action. Start moving, start taking those small steps, and I think you'll blow your own mind. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'll try not to make this one too much of a long one because it is the end of the year and I know we've all got a lot of things that we're doing at the moment. It's always that time. So one of the first things, this is in no particular order, but first thing is I have faith in myself now. For so many years, I started projects and I didn't finish them. I lost the fire, I lost the passion for them, and then I started doubting myself, and then everything became overwhelming, and then I would pivot and I would start something else because I thought this thing wasn't ever going to work. And really, a beautiful quote that I heard this year, I've said it probably a few times on the podcast, but happy to repeat it because it really was one of the defining quotes that helped me to start taking action and just doing this podcast. I've been wanting to do it for 7 years, and you can imagine how long of a time that is to have an idea in your head and to keep doubting yourself and the frustration that builds, and then, it becomes a negative rather than this positive thing that you wanted to do. So this quote is very simple. It is that successful sorry, it's not even the right thing. No, success and failure are the same road. The successful people just stay on that road a lot longer. So obviously that's paraphrasing a little bit. I'm not sure exactly where that's come from, but I heard it from another podcaster and it really spoke to me because that was the missing piece in my success. I was giving up on things way too easily. As soon as resistance would come up, or as soon as fear would enter, or as soon as doubt would come in, and I would think, I just don't know enough, or I'm not meant to do this, rather than having that amazing student mindset where you're constantly happy to learn, where every challenge that comes to you is there to shape you. This is just the truth. It's not just a mindset. The mindset of having that is just to align with the truth. The other mindset of, oh my God, a challenge has come up, I need to give up, or I need to completely change what I'm doing. That's all fear-based. And so I'm grateful that I tried so many other things and I found out what I didn't want to do. That's a big part of finding out what you do want to do. But again, it's all about taking action, right? You can't figure out what you do or you don't like until you actually start moving. And as soon as I started this podcast, yes, there were a lot of things that came up that I wasn't expecting, a lot more work than I thought was involved. And at first that was overwhelming, but I kept this mindset that successful people just stay on that road longer, and it's changed everything. So a big part of why I'm feeling so good about this now is I have proof that I can do the things that I say I'm going to do. I have proof of concept now. So that is really exciting because it means when I come up with other ideas for other things that I want to work on in the future, I have this podcast and all of the work that I've put into it and the consistency that I've kept to it as an example and as proof that I will be able to do it again. I just need to maintain that amazing mindset of just keep moving forward. I always say this is the first time in my life that I have cut the parachutes, I've sealed all the exits, and I've burnt the backup plans. And this is, if I have a rough day, I sit back, take a pause, and then I get back to work. And it's amazing. It's such an amazing, different feeling because I'm so used to the give up vibe. And yeah, this is just a game changer because it's not just this part of my life that this is happening. It's stemming into all of the other areas of my life. Even when I go to the gym now, there's consistency. So that's another big point. Consistency and discipline is another gift that I've received from doing this podcast because I decided that I would do 2 episodes a week, one solo one and one guest one. So there's a lot of editing that goes into that, editing the actual episodes themselves, editing the teasers, doing all of the promotional collateral, doing all the thumbnail artwork, creating the copy for the show notes, uploading, scheduling, all of these sorts of things. So at first, it was overwhelming, of course, but this is where the consistency and the discipline started to come into play. And I took it slow. I, tried not to overwhelm myself. Basically, I kept coming back. Something that really helped me was I kept coming back to the love of it, the passion for it. When I would have a day where it's like, oh my God, I have so much editing to do. This is just too much. I would take a bit of a pause. I try not to push through when I'm in that vibe because otherwise I'm going to edit something that doesn't really represent the energy of that episode. So I wait till I'm in a little bit of a better space. I go and create some joy for myself, whether that's going for a walk or dancing around the room or meditating or doing some breath work. And I come back and I remember why I'm doing this in the first place. That I want to share these amazing stories from people. I want to bring people to this platform, to this space, this studio where other people can listen to them, other people who are stuck potentially in a job that they really don't like or stuck in a life that they don't feel like aligns with their true identity. I want to show people, I want to give them examples of others who have said yes to themselves, who have been willing to do the work, to get in there, to get dirty, to keep pushing, to keep moving forward, and to just not give up, to follow passion rather than letting fear overwhelm them and lead the way. So when I come back to that why, I get really excited again. And then I go and listen to the episode, and as I'm editing it, obviously I'm re-listening again, and it's just so inspiring listening to the stories from these people. And then I get to do a solo episode every week where I get to verbalize all of the things that I've been learning about myself. And every time I do that, it's so enlightening for me. I'm listening to it and learning from it just as much as everyone else. Half the time I tune out and I'm just channeling information that's coming through from other sources. And it's just me. It's me finding me. And this is what I want to help other people do. That doesn't mean that I have completely found myself. I'm still on my own journey as well. And I love that. I love being able to share the real raw sides of how long it takes to realign with your true identity when we've had so many years, and in some cases decades, of programming and self-doubt and overthinking and anxiety and all of the fun things that come along with being human in the world that we live in today. So yeah, encoding is something that I'm really passionate about. This is what I do with my one-to-one clients in my program, Encoded Alignment. It's literally about encoding new habits, new patterns, and creating an entire new paradigm that you're working from. So the paradigm, we've gone over this in the past, but just a quick reminder, paradigm is a set of continual habits and actions and beliefs that have been accepted by the subconscious mind as law. And it's sort of your underlying program that all of your actions, behaviors, choices, experiences, everything you're calling into your reality is based off that paradigm. So once you become aware of what patterns have been running your life, that's when you can start to shift them to make the life that you want start magnetizing towards you. So this is a perfect example of encoding a new pattern into your lifestyle. I had to encode the work that it takes into doing this podcast, into my lifestyle, into my routine. And at first it was really overwhelming. Like I said, it was like, oh my gosh, I've got to schedule in interviews. I've got to research people. I've got to create questions. I've got to check them in with the guests. I've got to get approval for photos. I've got to do all this artwork and all the editing and all of the things. But I knew that I kept my mind on my future self, even though I'm living in the present moment. It's sort of like a paradox. While I was being as present as I possibly could, whenever I would get a little bit overwhelmed by the workload, I would sort of skip forward a few months and I would see myself doing this work effortlessly because it was something that I had done for so many months now that it had just become a part of my routine. And that's exactly what happened. And I have to say, it only took 3 months, less than that. It took about 2 months for me to get used to this new set of work, these new things that I have to do every week to make this podcast run the way it does. And so the exciting thing now is, now that I've encoded that into my routine and it started as overwhelming and now it feels really easy and effortless, there's more space in my routine again like there was originally. And I'm going, okay, well, what else can I encode into my routine? What else can I put in there? And this was the same thing that I did when I started my morning routine. It started off as just creating a healthy smoothie. And now it's literally a 3-hour process that I go through every single morning. And it sets me up for the day. So watching myself encode this new set of work into my routine and now making it flow again has been really exciting, because it just shows me, in the past, a few months ago, I would look at what potential work I had to do to make this podcast work, and it was enough to make me go run away and hide and want to lay on the couch and just watch TV and go, fuck it, there's no point, there's just too much. And now seeing what I'm capable of and seeing how much it lights me up, like I leave every episode when I have an interview with someone, and even when I do the solo episodes, I leave energized. It's feeding me energy because this is aligned with what I'm meant to do here in this lifetime. This is just a part of it. There's many other things, but I always knew that there were many things I wanted to do. And again, I got overwhelmed by the amount of work that might look like, that might take. And now I'm actively watching myself embed and encode these new workloads into my week effortlessly. So I'm super excited about what's coming next year. Who knows what else I can fit in and what else I can achieve. I have also gained a lot of confidence from this. 3 months ago, I wasn't even posting my face on social media. I was doing occasional, photos that I would do from photo shoots and, shots of nature and things here and there, but I wasn't consistent on social media. So I wasn't connecting with my community very often at all, wasn't building a relationship. And in this day and age, especially with the lifestyle I lead, I'm quite isolated. So I need that connection. I need that interaction with people online. That's where we're interacting a lot of the time now. So I was barely posting at all. And now I'm posting, I think it's like 3 to 4 times a day. And again, that was really overwhelming at the start. I was like, how do people do this? What is going on? Like, this seems so easy in my head, posting 4 times a day. But when I actually went to do it, every post required a big spiel about what this post is for and what the message behind it is. And it would take me sometimes like an hour just to write one little post, like the caption for the post. So again, another example of just sticking to it. And this is again where this quote comes in: staying on the road. The successful ones just stay on the road longer. Success and failure are the same exact road. So when I started speaking to my guests, I was crapping myself. I was really, really scared. I was so worried that I was going to look like an absolute twat and I would have no idea what to actually ask. Even though I had the questions there, I was worried, about everything. Is the conversation going to go in this direction? And then how do I pull it back to this question? Or do I just flow with it? But then if I just flow with it, I don't have any prompts for other questions. And what do I know? And all of the doubt and all the fear and all the fun little things came up to be seen. And the first couple of episodes, I was so nervous that when I left, I looked down at my nails and I had been pinching my nails under each other. I don't know if that makes sense if you're not watching the video of this. I'm showing you what I'm doing. But I was literally like pushing into my nails so hard under the desk while I was, carrying out these interviews and talking to people. It was subconscious. I didn't realize I was doing it. But at the end of these episodes, I looked at my nails and they were bleeding. That's how nervous I was. And that's just an example of it's okay, right? Like when you're starting something, you're not going to be a professional at it. this is again where I've spoken about this a lot, but labeling the phase I think is so important. I have labeled this initial phase of me starting this podcast and doing all this content online as my clunky phase. And I'm giving myself that grace, that freedom, that flow to be messy, to be clunky, because I'm learning. And if I'm expecting perfection from myself, which is what I've done my whole life and achieved not that much from that mentality, if I'm expecting perfection, then I'm going to beat myself up for every wrong word, every wrong quote, every caption that was spelt incorrectly, and I'm going to have a really not enjoyable time. So labeling it as my clunky phase has really let me just relax and go, look how cute. I just messed that up again. That's all right. It's my clunky phase. And I know I'm going to look back at this phase and go, that was the beginning. Like, look how different I am now. But I want to be able to look back with fond eyes and fond memories of this time, not look back and go, oh man, I gave myself such a hard time during that initial phase and I'm so glad I got out of it. I've come into this going, fuck it. I've given myself a hard enough time my entire life. Right now, I'm letting it all slide. I have a mission, I have a purpose, I have intent behind my words. Sometimes they don't come out anywhere near the way that I hoped that they would. I don't portray the right message that I had originally intended. But guess what? I'm still doing it. My intention is still there. And I'm achieving things that I didn't think I would be able to achieve. And now when I talk to people, I've been talking to people from all around the world now. I'm lining up guests with ease. They're getting more and more inspiring as I go. They're such incredible people. I have no dramas talking to them. I'm finding that I write all the questions down, and then as soon as the conversation starts, I forget half of them. I don't even bother looking at them. I have a couple that I like to come to at the end as a bit of a universal 3 questions that I like to ask all my guests. But in general, I just listen. I've learned how to just listen without the fear of thinking about the people watching this interview or listening to it. I've let go of that, thinking, what are they going to think if I say this? What are they going to believe if I say this? I'm just being present with this beautiful person that I am having in my space that has given me their time to share their stories and to inspire me and anyone else who wants to listen. And it's turned into such an enjoyable experience. I have so much fun, and I have made some seriously genuine friendships in the space. Again, this is all just like 3 months. This is all like wrap up of the last 3 months. So I've had a couple of people gift me with things, like with healing sessions, with online digital courses. I'm blown away at the generosity of people. And yeah, I'm so grateful. If you're watching the video, you can see I just can't stop smiling when I'm thinking about these people, because when I think back to 3 months ago, I had very few people with the same aligned beliefs and thoughts and behaviors and dreams and goals that I did. And now I am surrounding myself with these people. And it's because I chose to back myself, believe in myself, and have compassion for myself rather than just constantly telling myself that I'm doing it wrong. I am doing whatever I can with the best of my abilities, with the best of intentions, and whatever comes out is what comes out. That's something that I'm creating and putting out into the world, creating a space where people can come and get inspired by others who are following passion and who have aligned with their true trajectory. And I can't ask for more than that. I am honestly so grateful. So there are just a few things. I could probably talk about this for hours, but I want to keep this one short. So really and truly, to anyone listening, I have so much love for you. I feel you when you're trying to do something new and you have this passion for something, but you're so afraid and overwhelmed by the burdens of your own self-doubt. It can really suffocate the project, the creation, whatever it is that you're starting. So give yourself that space. Have fun with it. Keep going back to why you're doing it. Always connect with that. And also, I would highly recommend, while you're doing this process, if you follow passion, that's you aligning with the true self, with the true essence of who you really are, with your soul. So as you're doing that, you're going to become so much more aware of who you are in the process. So you're going to be learning so many beautiful things about yourself and giving yourself the ability to be clunky, to be messy, to make mistakes. That's such an incredible way to learn, to keep moving forward. rather than finding that you're coming up against challenges and then just losing faith in yourself, doubting everything's possible, and then going back into the depths, into the darkness, into the overthinking mind. Let's keep it heart-based as much as possible and really just back yourself. If you've got something that you really want to do, that is your true self calling out to you, saying, this is the direction you're meant to head in. So just give it a try. Really give it a try. Backing yourself is the biggest superpower you can give to yourself in this lifetime, and you'll be amazed at the things that you can achieve. So I hope you've gained something from this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining me at the birthing stages of this beautiful, beautiful project, the Trujectory podcast. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of everything I've achieved so far, of everyone who's been a part of this show. And I'm so excited to see where it heads. I can't even imagine where we're going to be a year from now, 2 years from now. But guess what? Success and failure are the same road. The successful ones just stay on there longer. And I fully intend on staying on this road. Stay you, stay true. Love you. Mwah.